We're going to be speaking to crime researcher Thabang Bogopa. Thabang, a very good evening and thank you for your time at the SABC at this hour. We're obviously just looking at the province of Gauteng and the quarterly stats that have been released. I mean, Gauteng obviously serves as the economic hub for the country. We're looking at population density as well and just the contributing factors at large. What is that picture looking like? What have we gotten right? What are we still grappling with?
Thank you so much, and good evening, my sister. Good evening to the viewers. Firstly, let's attribute the success or the reduction in some of the most serious crimes in Gauteng. Number one, to a collaboration between the SABC and private security, as well as the other law enforcement agencies. You'll realize that in South Africa, we have 6 metro police departments, and 50% of those are in Gauteng. We also had added to that being the Amapanyaza, with so much resources being allocated. Now that attributed to the reduction in this crime stats, and that also boosted the number of law enforcement that we have on the ground.
All right, and thank you for speaking to those integrated approaches, because obviously it's yielded results. And so as we look at, some of the causes for the stats coming through, perhaps you could take us through the statistics that had been released. I mean, if we're looking at the types of crime, you've got, those who experience road rage, those who obviously, have misunderstandings as well. And this leads to the escalation of crime. You've got mass shooting that also happens, and that has been a cause for concern.
Indeed, my sister, we have had 2 regrettable incidents of mass shootings in the recent quarter, and then those were mainly attributed to the gangs that operate in Gauteng. But you'll understand that, particularly relating to the road rage cases, in Gauteng there's so much frustration relating to traveling or commuting on the road. So we need more patience in between the people, basically including the fact that there's different people of different races, different tribes traveling on those public roads, and that increases the issue of the road rage. But we have seen a reduction in the murder rates, and that's a success for us as law researchers or crime researchers. But then let's look also into the issue of cash in transit highs that are unfortunately on the rise. And I think that is attributed mainly to the fact that in Gauteng, there are certain areas which are in the outskirts or remotely very far from the central business district, which is mainly where you have overpopulation of law enforcement agencies. So in other areas whereby it's a distance, you go as far as 30 to 50 kilometers from the next police station. That's where some of these crimes would mainly be populated.
Yes, and we also have to, assess the police to population ratio, and that is also, a factor that obviously comes to the fore, including resources. If we look at some of the other stats, as we break them down, I mean, we're looking at sexual offences decreasing by 2.1%, armed robbery also declining, as well as carjacking. But the big issue here as well that has come to the fore beyond the CIT, issues is also the issue of kidnappings. That's increased by 15.8%. Talk to us a bit more about that phenomenon. Obviously, the impact that the arrests are having or not having in relation to syndicates as well. What can you divulge on that front?
Indeed, thank you so much. You'll understand that this is simply the same syndicates that were part of the extortions countrywide, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, Western Cape, and Eastern Cape. And now that the South African Police Service have cracked down on extortion, and actually there are task teams that are focused on extortion, you are now experiencing crime displacement in the fact that the criminal syndicates are now shifting from one crime type to kidnappings, which often leads to robberies and often demanding ransom. Understanding that often families resort to paying the ransom instead of engaging the police officials. So in many cases, the criminals are aware that when a vulnerable family member is being kidnapped, the people who are affected mostly, or the victims, are likely to cooperate with the criminals other than opting for police rescue or for reporting to the police. So currently it means that instead of focusing more on the extortion, the police should now broaden the scope to go into looking into kidnappings, particularly the ones that are targeting our females using love scams. Love scams used to be a dominant crime 10 years ago, but now they are coming back. They are now resurfacing that. People are now realizing that there's more females that are looking for love on social media, and they are targeting the innocent females in our society. And I think it is high time that the South African Police Service utilize their cybercrime units in terms of monitoring to ensure that people are safe even on the cyberspace, what we could call the cyber crimes that occur when people are enjoying their social media. That's where the police should be more vigilant and make sure that they crack down this crime or criminal syndicates prior to them affecting innocent lives.
Yeah, well, it's Thabang obviously come to the fore once again through some of the cases like Olorato, Mongale, amongst many others. And obviously, as there's more question than answers, I'm going to leave our conversation there.